Well, hello everyone, Dylan here. Happy Throwback Thursday, and here I am with my second LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean review, and this one's on the Fountain of Youth from 2011, of course. So, starting out with the main minifigs included. Hang on. So, first off, which have Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, the most common version that comes in most of the sets, which same piece in there, and also the little tile piece for the compass, of course. And then next to which we have an exclusive variant of Barbossa. Well, Hector Barbossa, of course, but with a peg leg, of course. Well, since for this which his appearance in Stranger Tides, of course, and also have the center map part, which is on a round tile piece, which and of course, nice to see included in a small cheap set, of course. And however, the torso printing looks quite good for how it is, and the hat piece of which kind of the common kind from most earlier pirate sets, but at least with some nice exclusive printing to it, of course. And of course, having the sword sheath piece, if you can kind of tell there. But anyways, and next to it we have Blackbeard, which with the kind of unique style hairpiece, which looking kind of close to that of Gimli the dwarf in the Lord of the Rings Hobbit lines. But except with it's kind of all rubbery, and also these farther parts that are meant for like match parts, of course. But however, the torso print, leg printing underneath does look quite good for how it is, and face printing also quite well for how it is. And also one kind of interesting part is this sword piece, which I don't think ever came in any other sets or could have come in a collectible minifig series. But in the comments below, let me know if this sword was ever reused on in anything else. But yeah, and then also the hat piece, which same as from other pirate figs, of course, but it's kind of unique in some ways, which I'll show in a moment. And then last to which you have the classic skeleton kind of fig with the Baldroid arms. Well, that came in most fantasy era castle sets. And then on the back sides of each of them, as you see, Blackbeard's hat piece, which does have some exclusive printing to it. So kind of interesting how that is. Oh, and I guess Jack Sparrow, only one with some back head printing, of course. So I guess that's about it with this minifig selection. And I don't see what other figs could have been included. But yeah. And so now onto one part of it is the little water path gateway, which as you see quite simplistic on how it is. And of course, one big thing that is well standing out to that is this uh, little film material piece. So which is actually just one large film piece. It looked like it's a waterfall going behind, but you know this we did also see in on one set in the Lone Ranger line 2 years later, and of course we did see this kind of thing going on in some later Star Wars sequel trilogy sets and other things. But yeah, so at least it kind of slightly there, of course. And then as for the main build of it, which let's see. I see just a couple of kind of wedge pieces is in blue and a tile piece in blue representing the kind of watery part of the cave ground, of course. And then as you see, it's mostly just jagged slopes stacked on jagged slopes, which since this is in 2011, that's still kind of a bit there. And of course have a little green cheese slope there, and also a little vine piece, obviously there, and also have kind of these column pieces as well, one of which is shorter than the other. And of course, center part is in tan, of course. And kind of interesting is that the top part of it, which has these little holder piece, which is mainly used which was mainly used in a couple of the Atlantis sets this year and the year prior for that. So kind of interesting being used outside that, but of course, great to see used outside of that, of course. And then the other side of which is just same kind of thing going on. So completely symmetrical except for the columns, of course. And then the top archway part, just a few more cylinders and jagged slopes going on to there, and also classic archway piece and a couple of odd slopes, jagged slopes, but in dark green, of course. So, of course, fairly much going on with this section. And now on to the Fountain of Youth itself. So this quite simple build, but also so not at all like it's a movie in appearance, of course. But if you remember, if you notice how it looked in the movie, that it's like quite thick and chunky and goes in an archway, in an arch kind of styling with very little water dripping down to it. So I don't get why they didn't make this look like that. Well, maybe just didn't have enough referencing material to do so well, which is my good guess. But like, if this set ever got remade, which I would expect it to be in that kind of shape of that, but yeah. But as is, kind of alright that you, of course, this one as is, you can, which kind of alright to like plop into your caving box or whatever. So like, all of which kind of is based on like long wedge plates and a long plate to still represent the cave waters or the watery floor of the caves, and then kind of clear studs representing some of the bubbly parts of it. And then have kind of curved wedge and jagged wedge bricks, which barely see much nowadays, but still nice to see here. And you can see, and it's just fine bricks stacked on bricks for that. And then on the back side of which just a little bit more of that, and also corner bricks, of course. And then a pair of jagged slopes and cheap slopes on there, of course. And also the flame pieces, but in blue, most likely represent water spilling up from it. And also these clear blue cylinder pieces as well, of course. And then further upwards have like one half of the classic rock piece, but in dark green for that, and a little more clear blue pieces, and also this little dish piece. Oh, whoops. Hang on. Okay. This little dish-like piece, which has a bit of some lines and circles around it, well, most likely to represent ripples and bubbles of water spewing out from that. So this whole build so this piece as a whole can definitely use on some other custom fountains that you can add into Lego Cities, mocks, and such. And that is about it with this one. And so now on to the final verdict. Oh, and also forgot to mention, with this kind of section of it, you can also a couple of loose studs to put your skeleton on to, and just let them lie there dead, obviously. But yeah. And so for my overall verdict is, I think this is which a quite good small set, but although what I think, despite being like not completely movie accurate, like if this set were all done nowadays, I would expect the fountain part to be completely accurate, like in the like archway kind of styling. But yeah, and also what could have been included is probably the glass case and the other mermaid, and also the cylinder with the mermaid tier in it, of course. Well, if this set were to now, I would expect to include that, of course, but for this set as is, kind of good for how it is. Like, you get two exclusive figs, being of Blackbeard and Barboza, obviously, and also the center map part, which is kind of key part of the franchise, of course. But this set also still works out as a good parts pack of like dark green and also blue and lightish gray and dark tan. Well, despite all that, still quite good for how it is, and also nice to see the uh, top part pieces outside the Atlantis line, unless if you missed out on the Atlantis line and or at least making a mock of that, well, you can still use that piece as well. But yeah, and also if this were remade now, I think the waterfall part would most likely be actual pieces, like we saw in some Disney like Raya line and stuff. But anyways, well, if this were remade, I would expect all that. But yet again, this set in general, which still kind of good for how it is, like for $20 that it was, which is quite good for that. But yeah, and so now, if any of you which still have this set from back in the day, well, I hope you had some good memories of it. And for those of you who are still looking to get this set and are still, or at least have access to it, then I'd say definitely pick it up. eBay, Bricklink, Mercari, whatever. And that's it with this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.